So the faucet I'll be replacing this one with is the Moen Milton faucet, and this, like most new faucets today, can actually work with almost any countertop configuration. So in this case I've got one hole drilled in my quartz countertop, but if you have 2 holes in there or 3 holes, it will also work. It comes with the plates at the bottom, so you can work with any of those situations. Let's jump right in and see how to get started. Here under the sink, our first step is to shut off the water supply for both the hot water, like so, and then the cold water as well. Okay, and basically you want the valves to be perpendicular to the lines, and that's how you know they're closed. Like this one that's going to the dishwasher is still open because it's running parallel to the line. As soon as you're done with that, be sure to check up top and try to run the water. If nothing comes out for hot and cold, then you're all set. So here underneath the sink, this is the assembly that's holding the faucet onto the countertop from up above. So basically we've got this little nut here that should only be hand tightened, and you may need to use a wrench of some sort to loosen that if it's really stuck on there. But more importantly, we have this threaded shank here with this brass nut on top. This is called the fastening nut, and that's what's holding this whole assembly tight onto the countertop. So that's what we need to focus on loosening up. There we go, so it will move. There we go. Take that off. Now if you've got an old faucet that has a hose like these that pulls out, a lot of times these newer ones, at least in the last decade or so, will have a little push button release here. So I can actually push this button and pull out the old hose section here, which is really nice. So that makes it really simple to be able to slide everything off of it, and it gives us easier access to unthread that bolt up on top. So with that released and open, we can actually take the weight off that's on here. We can take the hand threaded piece off, and then we have access to the whole hose. Now I'm going to take this installation tool that came with the new faucet, and I'm going to thread it right on here. And we'll put it up top, and then we'll use this to actually do a lot of the work for us. So I'm going to slide the installation tool up here. Let's see if it fits. Hopefully it does. Around the bolt up here. There we go. Look at that. So that's actually a good fit. And then I should be able to pry it by twisting it. Lefty loosey. There we go. I'm starting to loosen. Okay. So I can unthread that. Now obviously if you don't have this same option, you can use a set of pliers or a wrench to do this, but because I have the new tool, may as well use it. And with that, the assembly up here should be loose. Yeah, there we go. So that whole thing should be able to slide right down. And now the faucet up top is also loose, so we're in good shape. At this point, the only thing left to remove the old one is these guys right here, our hot and cold water supplies. So I'm going to hold the valve in place and gently turn that, unthread. And there's going to be some water coming out here, so I will place a towel all the way around here like so to absorb some of that water that's in the hose line. And let this do any dripping it needs to do. Okay, from here we should be free to pull the entire faucet and assembly out from the top. It's going to be a little tricky to fit everything out all the way down and out with the old. Next we're going to prep the installation for the new faucet. Now if you've got 3 holes or 2 holes in here, then you may need to use this plate. And so the plate can sit right here, and then it's got a gasket that goes underneath it here with a nice rubber seal. So basically this would sit on here like so, and then we'd put this on to cover it up like that, put it into place, and then continue from there. Where I just have the 1 hole, so we don't need the plate, we're going to discard this, and then we're going to use the round gasket. You want to pay attention to the gasket because it has a couple of cutouts for some of the pipes and the hoses to fit through, and those are usually going to aim towards the front of the sink. So aim toward me in this case. And with that in place, I can take the hose assemblies and drop those down in. And then that same button that we just had to pull out on the old one, we're going to slide that one in here. That one goes in a lot easier. And again, being mindful of the cutouts here, we're going to place those with the hoses. And then this, of course, will need to be, actually it goes the other way. There you go, like this. So we want our handle on the right, like so. Just be aware that when you let go, this might try to tip over on you. It might have to lean like this because there's not enough weight holding it down there. So as long as you've got it upright for now, that's great. Okay, back here under the sink, we're gonna take our little plate here that holds everything in. Slide this on this shaft here. Slide it up so that all of the hoses, all 3 hoses, are inside the little recess that's cut out there. To make things easier, I'm just going to use the installation tool and thread that up here. I'm just holding the hoses with one hand to kind of keep things from spinning up top while I fasten this just hand tight right there. I'm going to go check the top, make sure everything is oriented the way it should be with the handle on the right. And as long as that looks good, then we can come and fasten this all the way using a screwdriver right through one of the holes in the handle. Like this one here, there's one on the bottom as well. And I'm going to thread a screwdriver through here and just twist that the rest of the way. Doesn't have to be super, super tight. That should do it. Now back up top, we're going to feed the hose through the faucet, and this has got the white rounded end that's going to snap into the fixture down below. So feed that in pretty much all the way, and it'll stop itself, but don't let it go too far there. So now that we've fed this through, we can pop off this protective cap here. That's just to help it slide down the faucet, and we won't need that anymore. Now with that protective cap off, you want to make sure to clear it from anything. We don't want this to be wrapped around any pipes or anything like that, but it's going to go right up here. We'll push the button, and you can even just do this one-handed like that, and now it's securely in there. Next, we're going to take this weight, open it up, and there's a little dummy barrel in there. We want to make sure to take that out. And then this yellow marking on here, at least in this case, is exactly what we're looking for. We're going to put this in place just below it. And then if you can do it by hand, great. There we go. That one snapped in pretty easy. But that basically attaches and adds the weight to the hose so that it always easily pulls back into position. Next, we're going to connect our hot water line and cold water lines back up. And this is basically just the opposite of what we did earlier. Go righty-tighty and thread these back on. Yes. Now with these on securely, we're going to open the valves up slowly and just check for any issues. We're going to check for leaking. Okay, so far so good. We're going to check for leaking on the bottom as well as on the top. There we go, that's pressurized now. I'm taking a look up top as well. And as long as the water's off, nothing should be happening. All right, now we're ready to put on the hose head, so we'll take off the protective piece, pull this down a little bit. There we go. And thread this guy on. Go hand tight it first. Tighten that on real good. And it should just snug right back up into place like so. We've got our buttons. And let's try this out. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, and if you want to support the channel so that we can make more videos like this, feel free to support us by joining with a channel membership using the join button below. It starts at just 99 cents and it goes a long way to help us out. Now while you're sprucing up the kitchen, you may want to check out my video right here on kitchen cabinet organization. It's a great way to divide everything and put everything in its place in your kitchen cupboards and cabinets. I'm Nils with Learn to DIY. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.